Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. Just gonna continue on my Rift team. If you've watched my level 8 one, it was pretty consistent for a 2 run. Actually, I wouldn't say pretty consistent, it was 100% consistent for a 2 run. As I got more levels, my strength and damage became better, so getting to a 1-shot was more and more possible. Now I'm level 15, as is what this video is showcasing, is that you can definitely get the 1-shot with Jacko without needing Kane. Again, this is not a video to counter the need for Kane, but just on a personal level, personal account. I never liked Kane's design in the fact that he was literally marketed to do Rift. Now, he might be good in, like, you know, Ancient Inheritance and stuff like that, including his artifact, who knows. But for now, I can't see myself pulling for him because we just came off of, like, you know, pretty heavy important banners, and I predict that we're gonna get some more important stuff coming down the line as well. But again, like I said, I think that Jacko's flaw is that she has stealth, and the boss does basically double the damage if you're in stealth, which means that most likely you get 1-shot. There are circumstances where you might not get 1-shot, and that is like if the boss doesn't have enough buffs, so he doesn't have 15% defense pen you, rather an additional stack of 15%. If you land a blind debuff depending on the artifact alignment on your heroes, other circumstances, the crushing hit is not a crushing blow, not a critical hit, those kind of things, you could still survive. But Jacko does have that flaw. So compared to Kane, she has more volatility in terms of actually dying and then potentially not getting a 1-shot. So am I confident of running this in like 20 run without looking at the screen? Probably not. If I wanted to 1 to 2 shot, this is pretty high probability to happen. Now, in terms of the extra proc rate, a lot of my experience is that, you know, sometimes you don't even get the extra proc rate. But it doesn't matter, as long as you get a couple throughout the fight, you'll most likely get the kill. A lot of my procs don't actually even get the attack buff, so I don't even get an attack buff while I'm proccing, which is the most ideal scenario. And unlike Kane can self-greater attack buff, so that runs the less need of having Hazel, like assuming you're level 21. So Kane has a lot of benefits, I'm not gonna lie, but as long as I can 1-shot, means the most energy efficient to the amount of gear I can get, this is viable for me. If you are a player that needs Jacko for like PvP scenarios, and you can't risk her on a rage set or risk her really slow, then I would obviously say that, you know, pull for Kane. But anyways, my own circumstances that I don't need it. So far it's been pretty consistent, more or less. The only inconsistency is that if I'm in stealth on the wrong turn, like I don't proc him before he knocks me out of stealth or he critical hits or something like that, then I might lose it and it becomes a 2 run. Now, if I was really like, you know, uncaring and just run this auto in the background, then I probably wouldn't mind. Sometimes it's a 1 run, sometimes it's a 2 run. But if you are really like a stickler for like it has to be guaranteed one tap run, then probably Kane is more safe. And again, even Kane teams require him to pop off. So let's say, for example, you don't hit the 50% multiple times, you're still not gonna get the 1-shot, at least not at level 15. At level 21, I'm pretty sure that they have designed this Rift to so fine-tuned, by the way, that you'll most likely get the 1-shot by the time you're level 21 or nearing 21. Now, that being Kane or Jacko or whatever have you, because it's just like the sheer amount of damage you'll be doing is just so much higher. And also by level 21, you can get, what, it's like 7 more turns for the Rift counter force. So with all that being said, I think by 21 you should be able to do it. So I think people are trying to min-max a 1-shot, which I am, from 15 to 21, because 15 to 21 is going to be a long grind. So if you do the math, and you don't even need to do the math, but literally just be like, oh well, I'm going to get more gear this way with less energy, then this is definitely the way to go, right? Alright, now I'm going to quickly show the build. So Rift Controller, you just want basically the 50% chance to proc an extra turn. I think this is the most consistent. If you're going to output that much damage, This is the best way to get the one shot, especially at level 15. And then I'm still going to use the Soul Weaver defense pen since my Hazel is in the front line. And then we're going to go using that 15% extra damage. That's the way you want to run it. Jacko in the back line, of course, to proc the fragment. I'm going to showcase the builds. So Hazel, the only thing that is changed with my teams, to be honest, is just the artifacts and Jacko's build. If you watch my level 8 Rift 2-tap run video, then we got a 20% boost here from Hazel's Idol Cheer. Now this tech, including Jacko's artifact, this tech is from, I saw from Zepeto. I think it also goes by Daddy7. So I don't want to miscredit someone, but I think he's the first one to showcase it, so I gotta give it the credit. My Ken looks exactly the same as before. Now instead of giving him that Cradle of Life or debuffs, I'm giving him Jacko's symbol because himself and my haste are tuned to have enough effectiveness with this artifact on. And since my Jacko is going to be using another artifact, it doesn't really matter. I mean, realistically, at my level here, this is like same as some other people's build where their secondary damage dealer was using that, I forgot what that artifact was called. The one that does like extra damage to the boss. I think it's like this one, yeah, Our Beautiful Seasons. So realistically, it's the same, except that I get the benefit of the effectiveness. But of course, you would have to have pulled on Jacko's banner to be able to benefit from that. Haste looks exactly the same as before, actually. Speed tune is still the same. You don't need to run them really fast because realistically, like, I don't think the speed tuning on anyone else is as beneficial as just having enough damage on your damage dealer, whether that being Kane or Jacko. Because realistically, if you looked at the fight, like, you're banking on getting like the Idol Cheer proc, you're getting Jacko or Kane or whatever is your damage dealer as many turns as possible. So realistically, the defense breaks should stay on. The only time you have to reapply the defense break is if the boss actually takes his ultimate and he cleanses all the debuffs, or rather, actually no, it wouldn't matter because by then you would have made him counter so much, he wouldn't never be able to shake off the defense break. That's the concept behind it. And if, like I said before, the Zepeto or Daddy7, the one being credited for the Alensa Nox's Wrath tech. So if you do get the 50% proc from the fragment, get that extra turn, so you basically activate this twice, you're getting 20% CR boost, then 20% CR boost, and then you're also getting the 20% from the Idol's Cheer. And realistically, Jacko is going to get a lot of turns before the boss even goes, right? And you're going to make him and force him to proc and counter, and even on his own turns, 2 of them are not AoE and they don't strip or whatever, they hit Hazel, so you're gonna get a lot of turns. So my Jacko, compared to my level 8 team, is the only one that has actually changed. I changed the chest piece and I changed the neck, and also on an attack boot to maximize the damage. Torn set, of course, and then everything else is kind of pretty much the same. Even with the 30 of effectiveness there, with Hazel's passive for the team, 10%, plus Jacko's symbol, another 10%, 50% effectiveness is not bad. I've had a couple runs, which actually were the game-winning runs, was that I blinded the boss. With Chain of Keyron, there's a chance. Now, being at 50% is very low. Realistically, you're 50-50 on top of a 1, 2, 3, 4 different debuffs that you can get on him, and like 3 of them don't work. So if I see a blind, I know that she's the contributing factor for that, and it does go off once in a while. Like I think I did like 15 runs, and again, I only try to do a one shot. If I fail a one shot or whatever, I just yield and restart it. Realistically, it is a bit more babysitting, but for min-maxing energy to the amount of gear or rewards you can get from a boss drop, it's definitely worth the min-maxing at this point. I will say that Kane is more stable, but at this point, I just can't justify pulling for Kane. At least that's just for me. I do think that there are going to be banners that are upcoming, and unless you're a whale, you probably want to play it safe, but it just depends on how important Rift is to you. Yeah, so anyways, I think I'm going to end that there. That's pretty much all I wanted. By the time I hit level 21, I'll most likely make one more video, maybe, if I care. But it might just be Jacko on speed boot, honestly, because by then you should have enough damage that can compensate the attack boot. instead of like a speed boot. So like 4k attack, 330 or 320 crit damage or whatever, should be able to do it even with a speed boot instead of an attack boot. Anyways, maybe you'll hear from me again, but if not, hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys have Discord, check it out, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.